Good morning and welcome. Thanks for joining us today. It is a great morning. I am here with Doug Gray, and he's going to tell us about how to lead in 2021. 9 tips. Doug, off to you.
9 tips. Let's get going. So the world has changed in the Q1 and Q2 of 2020, which is where we are now. So let's look at what we need to do next. I think we need a little humor. Evolution is a result always of two things: agility and collaboration. So if we think about the evolution of humanity, we're certainly digitally defined now. Here we are on Zoom, and we have twitchy fingers. We use pictures, we use images to self-describe or affiliate with whatever our networks are, our clients demand. And I think it's also critically important to think about not just having one team, but networks of virtual teams. How are they defined? They're physically dispersed, just like you and I are physically in different locations. We're using some degree of digital connectivity. We've got a shared task, we're sharing a few tips, and we've got some groupware or hardware, computer-mediated communication, so that we can reach out like the hand of God in Da Vinci or was it Michelangelo, and reach out to one another. I don't remember actually where that image came from. But the facts are clear that you and I were raised like that blue org chart on the top. It's a top-down model, right? Our parents and our teachers and everybody else said, this is how you define excellence, and this is how we manage efficiencies. And that was historically true with the advent of the scientific revolution and industrialization of manufacturers, but it's not true anymore. The virus is an image, but it's also a descriptive model for how things are. So if the world is John-centric, then John is C, right? And all your affiliations and connections expand around that. But it's not just John's one network. John's got multiple networks of teams, your family and your work and your collaborations, all the different groups you're affiliated with. So a better
the tech industry.
Sorry?
Yeah, the tech industry seems to have gone here faster than other organizations, but how things work on the right side, the agile approach seems to fit this really well.
It does, and of course they adopted that word into their sprints and their 3-month kind of focus because they need to depend upon virtual teams in order to get the work done. Good book, OKR Leadership, talks about some of that history, and I think you're right, it's critically important. So an activity I often do with folks is look at the tech companies. Nice segue, John. These images on the far left are goofy, sort of, but descriptive of different kinds of network maps. And an activity I invite people to do is on the right. So if you were to create your little spider web or your org chart, just write your name in the center and the 5 or 7 key teammates, people on your team that you affiliate with. These are the people that are critically important. You might call them at 2 in the morning if you had a problem. You're on my list, by the way, John Maddox. If I had to call someone, you would be my go-to guy, certainly for data analytics and anything related to measurement. Other topics as well because of our friendship. But the point is, many of the people in my audiences can't do this. They've got 2, maybe 3, but they don't have 6 or 8. And the science is very clear. If you've got 6 or more, you are psychologically healthier. So my invitation to everybody watching this is to create a map, a little network. Pause this video and draw your 6 or 8, and then reach out to them on a regular cadence. I do this weekly. So I travel, and when I drive, I call people by geography. So if I'm in your city,
I can verify that. He calls a lot.
Right. And the reason is this: I know it's important for me and it's important for the other person. So to the degree that we're building a network or teams of networks, we'll be more successful ahead. And I think,
and Doug, if you'd go back for just a second, we've got great different structures over here on the left-hand side with all the different companies. If you're curious about this, there's something called social networking analysis. It's actually a way of seeing where your network has hubs, where you have isolated people. If you're interested in that, give us a call. We can help you do that.
my first introduction to that was in high school. I took a course through Syracuse University. It was an AP psychology course, and they introduced sociometry and sociograms, and it stuck with me ever since. Because I looked around the classroom and the instructor made the point that there are people that are closer to you. They look just like this. I think it's obvious. It's self-evident in our work world. So what we're really talking about is you defining your team. What should it look like? I might have shared this example with you, but I was at a conference with the Society of Industrial Organizational Psychology, a bunch of nerds. And one nerd from IBM said, this is how we do our performance evaluation or performance management. We determine who are the 10 people, top 10 people that John interacts with. Sorry, I'm going to pick on you. And those are the people, those 10 people who write the performance evaluation, not just the manager, not just this. So we're clearly, I think, evolving into an OKR model, a network analysis model, and social network analysis is here to stay. We see it in lots of tech examples. All right, moving on.